Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished and honorable guests, thank you for being here today. My speech is entitled, yes, Value-Generated Fundraising, and it actually follows nicely Brian's speech. What I'd like to do for you is to contrast two fundamental philosophies of fundraising and then give you some tools to evaluate the effectiveness of a fundraising program. Now, I realize that fundraising is applicable in arts organizations, in nonprofit hospitals, corporations. For the purpose of this speech, I'm going to focus primarily on fundraising that you might see for a school, or a boosters club, or Boys and Girl Scouts. Two types of fundraising philosophy. I will start first with an anecdote. About 2 years ago, I went to Kroger to pick up some supplies. And on my way out, I was hit up by the Boy Scouts. They were fundraising. And they had tins of popcorn. Well, being a charity-focused person, I felt sure. I was a Boy Scout, good people, I will buy some popcorn. Little chit-chat with the children, how much is a bucket, and it turns out it was $20. $20 for a tin of popcorn. Well, I paid it. I didn't feel real good about it. But as I was driving home, I was sort of angry because a piece of information was revealed to me during our little chit-chat back and forth, and that was this, that if the Boy Scouts were to sell all their popcorn that they were given, maybe 12, 15 cases piled high behind them, they got to keep 50% of how much they raised. 50%. So I'm driving home, sort of in a fuss. And I thought to myself that if I had given the Boy Scouts $12, went back into Kroger and bought myself a couple bags of Fiddle Faddle, flushed $2 down the toilet, I still would have saved $1, and everyone would have been better off. This was their approach to fundraising. This is an example of markup fundraising. Markup fundraising, where you have a product and you mark up the price and appeal to people's sympathy and charity to raise your funds. In contrast, a second philosophy, approach to fundraising. Who here can tell me what this is? Go ahead, just call it out. Wrong. Good try, though.
I would go with balloon
This right here, it's lots of things, but in economic analysis of it, it is a nickel. A 5-cent balloon. That's what it costs me. You can buy it in any bag in any store. Now I need somebody to with a watch and a second hand. You have one, I see. Would you be kind enough to time me in seconds, and you can tell me when to go?
Go.
Stop.
8 seconds.
8 seconds. Wow. Thank you. Who here can tell me what this is right here? Just call it out. Wrong.
Balloon.
Wrong.
$1.
A $1. A very astute and probably fatherly kind of man. This right here is a balloon dog. You can buy it at any fair, any festival, at a party. You can get this for $1. Now I have taken a 5-cent balloon and turned it into $1 in 8 seconds. Some people call that the world's greatest magic trick. I call it value-generated fundraising. As we've heard, wealth is not a zero-sum game. You can create wealth. By applying some knowledge, some skills, a little bit of heart, a little bit of breath, I've turned a 5-cent balloon into a $1 balloon by applying my wealth, my skills, my talents. This is value-generated fundraising. Now compare and contrast. A tin of popcorn, $20. 10 of those dollars are leaving the community. 5 cents left the community. 50% went to the fundraising organization for the Boy Scouts. 95 cents goes to the organization because I created value. So these are our two fundamental approaches: markup and value generated. Now let's have some criteria for evaluating a fundraising program. I've broken them into 3 categories. There are the effect on the individual, the effect on the community, and the effect on the environment. Who here has ever received from a coworker, a friend, a neighbor, a brochure that has all this stuff in it, overpriced, probably nothing you really want, but you were challenged to go through and find 2 or 3 things that you wanted most or didn't want least to order so that you could help raise funds for this person's child? Probably most of you. And if you're parents, I'm sure you were the person saying, hey, you want to get something out of this, please? My kid needs something for his sports team. That doesn't have any benefit on the individual. What does the child learn by taking a catalog order sheet and giving it to mom? Or going up with their puppy eyes to their aunt and uncle saying, oh, will you buy something? Some more wrapping paper. There's not a lot of value, there's not a lot of self-worth, there's not a lot of growth. There's not a lot of positive effect on the individual. Whereas, if a child is taught how to create wealth, how to create value, how to take skills and create something new, there is a lot of benefit there. The effect on the individual. Is the child benefiting personally from learning the skill and doing the fundraising? The effect on the community. I like to look at it in economic terms. Specifically, the tin of popcorn. How much money is staying in a community? If I'm giving money to this organization because I want this organization to prosper and have the programs our children need, our children needs, some combination of plurals in there somewhere. I want the money to go to the organization. If half the money is leaving the community, sure, I'm supporting the organization and the children, but it's at a cost to the community. 50% of what we raise. That hurts. That's a lot of money to lose. So I challenge you to look at how much money stays in a community. Finally, the environment. You don't have to necessarily send money out. What if you look at a recycling program and decide that by contributing your old ink cartridges, you are contributing to the community or the environment by not throwing them away? Well, that's a way that money is being recycled back into the programs that the children care about, and that's good for the environment. Those are our programs, our evaluation techniques, and 2 philosophies. Thank you.